And he'd be going, oh no, actually I don't think he said that. He was like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. He just had no words, but he had murder on dance floor, better not kill the groove. Murder on the dance floor, but you better not kill the groove. Hello, I am Sophie Ellis-Bextor, and I'm going to tell you the crazy story of Murder on the Dance Floor. Murder on the Dance Floor is a song I've been singing for about 22 years. I'd started singing when I was 16. So in 1995, I started singing while I was still at school in a band called The Audience, which signed a record deal with Mercury in 97. And that was like an indie group. So we did kind of quite left field guitar pop. I was a big indie kid, so I was very happy in that world. Then the band split up in 1999. And in 2000, I did a dance track with a DJ called Spiller and a song called If This Ain't Love, or Groove Jet. That was the song that basically introduced me to the idea of, oh, I don't have to stay in any one genre. I've gone from indie to dance, so maybe the place where I can kind of do whatever I want is pop, because I think pop music, you can really kind of have fun with lots of different genres. And it was really after I did the dance track that I started to think, actually, maybe I like aspects of dance music, but I want to know the origin of dance. So I went back to disco. And what I loved about disco was that it was about the vocalist and the storytelling. So you'd get this amazing world of music on the outside, but at the core of it would be someone, you know, telling their story of how they fell in love or heartache or a cautionary tale. And I just thought I was really addicted to that feeling. So that's really when I got into disco. It was not until like 2000, 2001 while I was making my first record, and I thought, oh my word, I love this. I would have first heard the demo version of Murder probably would have been 2001 as well, same year that it came out. Greg Alexander wrote the first version of Murder on Dance Floor, and I knew of him through his song You Only Get What You Give, which he had with the New Radicals. I'd heard rumours about him being a really great pop writer and a very lovely man. So he'd written this very rough demo that was on a cassette with him jamming on his guitar and a very rough vocal that had a few lyrics. And Murder on Dance Floor was one of the lyrics he already had. And he'd be going, oh no, actually I don't think he said that. He was like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. He just had no words, but he had Murder on Dance Floor, better not kill the groove, and the melody. He said, if you like it, you can finish it. And I was like, I like it.
Il y a pas mal de légendes qui tournent à propos de la signification du morceau, et notamment qu'en fait c'est pas à propos de meurtre, mais à propos d'une voiture qui veut pas démarrer.
Greg wrote the first version of Murder on Dance Floor because he was frustrated. He wanted to go clubbing and his car wouldn't start. He couldn't get to the club, so he sat in his car with an acoustic guitar and was like, it's Murder on Dance Floor. That was the first version of the song. That's what I heard. His frustrated little voice, not being able to go clubbing. But I think I really liked the energy of it and the attitude of it and the need for just that moment of release. So I kind of took that on when I was trying to finish it off and hopefully keep the spirit of how Greg intended it. So with the lyrics for Murder, I found that that was a nice stature to exist in, so I could be a bit cheeky, have a flirtation, but still be hopefully playing it a bit cool, which is actually, come to think of it, very much not like me. But when I'm singing, I feel like that. I don't feel like that in real life, but when I'm singing, I feel like that. So yeah, something that was kind of happy to be in its own space and not really needing anything from anyone else. It's a bit like putting on a suit or an outfit that makes you feel great. So the best songs make you feel like you've put on like an invisible cape and you just feel like you walk a bit taller, you feel a bit happier. So I think that's what I wanted for Murder on Dance Floor.
C'est peut-être pour ça que les gens aiment l'écouter tout nu en fait.
Because it clothes you. Metaphorical clothing. New album title.
Est-ce que tu peux nous raconter l'histoire du clip du morceau?
Well, firstly, I absolutely adore making videos. I started working with a video director called Sophie Muller when I did my first song, when I did Take Me Home, and I really hit it off with her. I think she's such a talent. When I was thinking of what I wanted to do for the video for Murder on Dance Floor, I'd just seen a film called They Shoot Horses, Don't They?, which was a 70s film with Jane Fonda. And at the end of this dance competition she's in, they're all drinking loads of coffee and caffeinating themselves and just trying to keep going, and they've all gone mad, absolutely mad, and a fight breaks out, and it's like everybody's kind of deranged on the thirst to win. And I thought, that's a great idea for a video. So that became the kernel of what happened next. At that time, pop music in the early noughties was very smiley, very friendly, very like jazz hands, like, let me be your friend. And I thought, I don't really want to be that kind of pop star. I don't really know how I feel about that. So maybe I'll be kind of evil, actually, and I won't be very nice. So I had this idea to do a dance competition video. And then Sophie Muller said, let's just make you do awful things to win. So we wrote a list of like how you could get rid of people in a competition, poisoning them, making them fall over and break their legs, chloroforming a judge, like horrible stuff. But it worked and I won, so Good for me. I've got a penchant for being a baddie, quite frankly. It's really fun.
Il n'y a pas eu de meurtre sur le tournage.
I'm not sure the female judge survived. Or maybe she just passed out for a while. Can you check on her, please? You know what? I'm really bad at knowing what's going to do well. I've got no antenna for what a hit is. But Murder on Dancefloor was the first song that I released internationally from my first album. The reception it was kind of extraordinary because previous year in 2000 I'd released Groovejet, and Groovejet had gone to #1 in lots of countries. That had already absolutely blown my mind. So I did not even dare to dream that anything from my first solo album would do anything really. All I wanted was the opportunity for my first album to mean I got to make a second album.
Plus de 20 ans après la sortie du morceau, il refait parler de lui grâce à son apparition dans le film Saltburn.
I think I like you even more than last year's one.
Alors comment ton morceau a terminé dans le film?
Early in 2023, I got an email asking me for permission for a new movie, Saltburn, directed by Emerald Fennell, wanted to use Murder on Dancefloor for a scene where the character would be dancing to the whole song and they would be completely naked. And that is all I knew. And I said, yes, straight away. And then I didn't really think about it after that because I didn't know anything about the rest of the movie. And then it got to the summertime last year and I started hearing a little bit more of a buzz and people talking about the soundtrack and the film, and I was invited to a screening. So I trotted along with my mum and my eldest boy and my brother and my husband. Yes, oh la la. And we all really enjoyed it. I mean, obviously it's got some challenging moments, but we really enjoyed it. I actually forgot when I was watching it that I was going to see Murder on Dancefloor in it. So when we got to the end and the final scene, I was like, oh my word. And I just thought, lucky me that I'm part of such a great film. That's a very cool film to be in. But I had no idea it was going to take off like it did. No idea. It's funny because whenever I hear my music on things, it's hard for me to completely lose myself in the moment. What I think is clever about how Emerald has used murder in that scene is that it kind of took me back to my relationship with the song at the beginning. Because in the video, I too am being evil and using any tactics to get what I want, which is similar to Oliver in Saltburn. And I think she tapped into the sort of hedonism that's in the song. And I'd kind of forgotten how much that was there. So it sort of reminded me of how I felt about the song back at the beginning.
Après le film, ton morceau, il est devenu numéro 1 sur TikTok. Est-ce que toi, tu connaissais l'application TikTok?
Of course, I was familiar with TikTok. I dabbled with it a little bit myself. And then I have a son who's exactly the right age for TikTok. So he's now 15. And he'd done a very clever thing where he'd basically helped me film some TikToks probably like a couple of years ago. I think it was probably like 2020, 2021. And then when he'd built up my followers to a certain level, he switched the entire account to his name. So he changed his picture, his name, just completely took over my account. So in my house, TikTok is very much like that boy's thing. So when he started seeing my song on TikTok, he was like, but you better not kill the groove. I find it absolutely hilarious that I've had a song that's gone viral on TikTok because I used to tease them about that, not thinking they'd ever have to live through it. Evil laugh. They've never used my music for any of their TikToks.
Il y a une reprise du morceau qui tourne beaucoup sur les réseaux sociaux.
The Royal Otis one. It's good, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, well, I didn't know them before. I love it. I love it. Everybody that's done a dance to it, everybody that's sung along to it, everybody that's done a cover of it, any of it, absolutely, I share it with every single person. That's the beautiful thing about music. You put music out, you want to start a conversation, you want to spark a back and forth. So every time someone interacts with it, it's like energy. It's all good. If I haven't got bored singing Murder on Dance for 20 years, I think I've done all right. So I'm not intending on getting bored. We're into a new chapter, we're fine. For me, Murder on Dancefloor was always the song I shared with people. I feel like it's the most communal of the songs I have, is getting people all together and dancing with them. 99% of the time, when I start my shows, we go on a journey and we end at Murder on the Dance Floor. It's always the bit where it's like the hands in the air, celebration, you know, thank you all for coming, let's have this together. Lucky me, I really do enjoy singing it.
Konbini!